Yo, back in the 80s, I had a rusty Toyota Corolla, a dinged up twin fin, and a bad habit of skipping school and surfing New Smyrna Inlet all day. If you'd have told me back then that there was going to be surfing in the Olympics, I would have thought you were crazy. Well, here it is, the 2021 Summer Olympics in Tokyo, and surfing is making its debut. It's unbelievable. Now, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing from the surf course standpoint, but what I do know is that I put together a preview. I also want to mention at the top that we have an Olympic fantasy surf contest going on, and a Stab Premium membership for 1 year is up for grabs. Let's jump in. Hey everybody, what is up? It's Old Surf Dad. If you're new, welcome. In this video, we're going to cover the Olympic surfing format. I'm going to talk about judging, scoring, and the heat draws. After that, we're going to the beach. We're going to check out the Olympic venue. Next, we're going to meet the Olympic surfers. And finally, I'm going to show you how to enter the Olympic Fantasy Surf Contest. As always, there's a timeline in the description if you want to skip ahead. Sound good? Cool. So let's talk Olympic surfing. Check out this picture of these judges. Fortunately, they won't be the ones used for the Olympics. We will have experienced ISA and WSL judges. The other good news in terms of Olympic surfing format is that the ISA and WSL got together years ago and created a standard which will roll over into the Olympics. The criteria and scoring will be what we're used to seeing in the WSL. There'll be 7 total judges and 5 will rotate through for each heat. The only Olympic differences are that the judges need to be from different countries and that the head judge has less influence. That means that individual judges' scores may vary a little more than usual. So again, because of universal judging criteria, Olympic scoring, priority, and interference will be the same as we're used to seeing in the WSL. So I'm not sure how the screen is going to look in the Olympics, but let's do a quick review of scoring. If you look in the lower right, you'll see the 5 judges' scores. As we know, they take the highest and lowest and drop those scores. They then average the 3 scores left to come up with this score, which in this case is 7.33. They then put that in if it's one of the best of the 2 scores and add that together for the total. The highest point total wins. If the score is lower than the best 2 scores, it's thrown out. Now, usually there's not a maximum amount of waves you can catch. I've heard rumors that it's going to be 25. The only person I could see having a problem with that is Ilo Ferreira. If we stay in the upper left, you'll see the time left in the heat. I'm told that the heats are going to be 30 minutes long. They may vary due to conditions. You'll also see next to John Florence's name, he has a 2, and Leo Faravanti has a P. The P is obviously priority, so they can take turns surfing waves. As always, if you have a question about any of this, leave it in the comments below, and I will respond. Welcome to Olympic surfing's periodic table of elements. I mean, just look at this thing. I'm going to make it real simple for us. Rounds 1 and 2 do nothing more than eliminate 4 surfers. The reason you want to do that is because you need to get to the number 16. The number 16 fits really well in a traditional heat structure. What happens is round 3 with 16 surfers creates the ability to have head-to-head heats all the way to the medal round. A couple things of note here. We have a bronze medal round. Usually in the WSL, the losers in the semifinals get an equal third, but here we have a competition for a medal. The other thing I think we'll be interested in is that Olympic broadcasting requires 10 minutes between each heat. There's 23 total heats. That's a lot of time for surfers to sit around, and that's a lot of time for viewership to wait between heats. It looks like a great time to get a lot of Olympic updates and commercials in. So the Olympic surf venue is at Tsurigasaki Beach, about 40 miles from Tokyo, or a 90-minute drive. On the beach is a beautiful torii monument, which represents God's Gate. So check this out. In Japanese culture, they believe that the beach is a doorway for God to enter the land from the ocean. This area is the easternmost point in Japan and will pick up any swell out in the ocean. There's jetties that hold the sand in place and keep consistent bottom contours. Think like Newport River jetties or New Smyrna Beach. Now the waiting period is from July 24th through to August 9th. If we look at the surf forecast, you'll see it's small 2 to 3 feet every day until the beginning of the waiting period. That's 11 days from now. What a coincidence that is. Thank you, Surfline, for that forecast. I'm not sure where they're getting that information, but what I do know is that we really want a typhoon. Now, typhoon season is from May to October, but August and September seem to be the busiest month. Now, we don't want a typhoon that's going to come through and wipe out Japan and rain all over the Olympics. What we want is a nice little typhoon to sit out off the Philippine Sea and just send consistent swell. I just saw an Instagram post from John that showed a typhoon swell and the wave looked insane. Unfortunately for the Japanese surfers, there'll be no spectators allowed on the beach due to COVID reasons. So let's meet our Olympic surfers. All right, it is time to meet the Olympians, but before we do that, I want to congratulate the 20 women and the 20 men that have qualified. What I've done is created a profile for each one of them, and I've ranked them in the order that I think that they will finish. If you want to dive a little deeper, you can find links and Instagram accounts for my research in the description below. All right, cool. Let's jump in and start with the women. We start with Dominic Barona. She's from Ecuador. She's 30 years old and she's a goofy foot. She's currently 5th on the WQS in South America. She has decent fundamentals, but I think she lacks the speed of the other competitors. I honestly don't see her making it into round 3. Next up is Ella Williams. She's from New Zealand. She's 26 years old and a goofy foot. Her accomplishments include winning the World Junior Championships in Brazil, the only Kiwi to do so. She also got a 13th at Bells in a WCT, eventually losing to Carissa Moore. I think the judges are going to like the buckets she throws, but I'm not sure she's at the same level as the other competitors, and I think she'll miss the 3rd round. Here's Yolanda Sequeira from Portugal. She's 23 years old. She's currently ranked 10th on the WQS in Europe. She's had sporadic results since 2016, and I don't think her surfing is on par with some of the other women. I'm going to say she doesn't make the 3rd round. You may remember South Africa's Bianca Buitendag from her WCT career. She was number 4 in the world in 2015. She also won the World Juniors in Narrabeen when she was 17. She's 27 years old and a goofy foot. She's 6'1" and 165 pounds, which is one reason why I think she's a solid performer and good waves, but I think she'll struggle in the beach breaks of Japan. I don't see her making it past the 3rd round. Anat Lelior from Israel, I probably botched her name, is very interesting. She's a former soldier, and during her time serving in the military, they actually sent her out and let her surf, seeing that she's talented. She is a raw talent, I will say, and lacks a lot of competitive experience, but she did learn to surf in the Mediterranean, and that may lend itself well to the Japanese beach breaks. She's actually had good results in the QS, winning France recently, and she could be dangerous in the small surf. I say she'll make the 3rd round. I'm not sure how much further she'll make it past. Costa Rica's Leilani McGonagle is a 21-year-old goofy foot. She's currently ranked 7th on the North American QS. She's had good results, just never qualified for the CT. I like her speed and progression. I just think she's going to have her hands full with the women at the upper level. I see her making the round of 16. Let's see what she does after that. Daniella Rosas from Peru is only 19 years old. She's got a lot of raw talent and potential. I definitely think she could use a surf coach, but I really like the way she surfs. Perhaps at times a little wide in the stance, but the girl charges. She's been known to run up on Pico Alto, as you can see in this clip, and I think that she'll make the top 16. I just don't think she'll be able to handle the competition beyond that. Japan's Mahina Maeda is also a big wave surfer. She's a 23-year-old goofy foot that lived between the North Shore of Oahu and Japan and has a lot of big wave experience. She even had a clip in the Billabong XXL towing into Nazare when she was 17 years old. She's coached by Ross Williams, and I think her big wave exploits are larger than her small wave game. I don't see her making it past the top 16. Teresa Bonvalot from Portugal is a 21-year-old goofy foot who is both explosive and consistent and reminds me a lot of her fellow countryman and Olympian Frederico Moraes. That's a huge compliment. I love the way that the guy surfs. She's also gotten recent sponsorship deals from Red Bull and Rip Curl, and rightfully so. She rips. I would say she'll make it into the quarters and maybe beyond. Next up is the first female Japanese surfer to make the World Championship Tour, where she's currently ranked 18th. It's 20-year-old regular foot Amuro Tsuzuki. Now, I haven't quite figured out Amuro. Some days she looks out of sync, her flow is not real good, and she looks sleepy. Another day, she's tearing down brick walls. Her backside attack is strong. Let's see if she can be the hometown Olympic hero that Japan wants. Pauline Ado from France is a 30-year-old regular foot who is a former World Tour top 10 competitor. She's in excellent physical condition and has great experience in the water. Unfortunately, I don't think she's competitive with some of the other ladies at the same level. I see her going out in the round of 16. Yes, you read that right. That's Sevilla Milanovic from Peru, the 38-year-old mom who's an absolute surfing legend. She was world champion in 2004, and to give you some time perspective, she used to have a rivalry with Lisa Anderson. And here she is in the 2021 Olympics representing her country. They have to be proud. I think she still has a level of competitiveness that she'll make it in the event to the top 16. I just don't see her making it further with the progression of surfing that the other women are doing. Brisa Hennessy started surfing as a little girl in Costa Rica. She's now 22 and ranked 15th in the world. She's also lived on the North Shore of Oahu and now in Fiji, where her dad works at Namotu Island. She does all the right things. I feel like her surfing is solid. I think her struggles on the World Championship Tour have been due to increased competition, but she's constantly improving, and I see her doing really well in the Olympics, probably making it to the quarters and beyond. All the women I've presented so far, I've made reference to them not quite being at that elite level. Well, the next 6 women are the elite surfers, starting with Sally Fitzgibbons from Australia. Sally's a 30-year-old regular foot and probably the fittest surfer on tour. She's a former track star, and she takes that athletic ability and brings it to the World Championship Tour. She's finished runner-up to a world title and has been in the top 5 for the last 10 years. I see Sally really doing well. I would not be surprised if she won a medal. Tatiana Weston Webb is a 25-year-old goofy foot. She won back-to-back titles at the ISA World Junior Games, and she's currently ranked 4th overall in the World Championship Tour. I give Ross Williams, her surf coach, a lot of credit for smoothing out her style and making her a smarter competitor. She's a dual U.S. Brazilian citizen. Her mom's Brazilian, but she grew up with her dad surfing on Kauai, where she first got her taste for big waves. Her only weakness might be Japan's small surf. I could still see her in a medal round, but I'm guessing she'll probably go out in the quarters or semis. Australia's Stephanie Gilmore is one of the most dominant surfers in history. She has 7 world titles to her name, and she's currently ranked 5th on the World Tour. New competition from the likes of Tyler Wright, Carissa Moore, Caroline Marks, and others have seen her dominance wane over the past few years. After all, she's 33 years old, but she's still a powerful competitor and a force to be reckoned with in women's surfing. She is definitely a medal round contender and a beloved figure. In fact, secretly, Americans are going to be cheering for her because of her smooth style and radical approach. I just love watching her surf. Go Steph. At just 17 years of age, Caroline Marks made the World Championship Tour, the youngest surfer ever to do so. Now, at 19, she's ranked 6th in the world. Her leg strength and low center of gravity give her one of the best backhand hacks in the game. She also has a beautiful, elegant style that links turns together. I think her Florida upbringing will help give her the experience she needs in Japan in the small waves that could potentially be on offer. I would also say that if she won a gold or silver medal, I would not be surprised at all. I'm not saying this because I'm a homer for the USA. I'm saying this because I love good surfing. Unless you're one of her competitors, who doesn't love Joanne Defay? She's always happy. She's always smiling. She's got really good energy. And why not? She's been on an absolute tear this year. She's currently ranked number 2 in the World Tour, and she's shown her versatility with wins in the past in Fiji and in Huntington Beach. I think her small wave game is going to play really well in the Japanese beach break, and I also know that she can beat Carissa Moore if she has to. France has a real good shot at a medal with Yolanda. All right, I'm not going to lie. This is the USA's best shot at a gold medal in surfing. Oahu, Hawaii's Carissa Moore is a 4-time world champion. She's currently ranked #1 in the world, and she's been absolutely dominant this season. I see no reason why she doesn't medal, and she's definitely a gold medal favorite. I'm going to be cheering for her. I hope you are too. Billy Stearman is a 31-year-old regular foot from New Zealand. He's currently ranked 12th in the Aussie QS. And honestly, that's all I know. I mean, I found a clip of him surfing in Haleiwa, and he had a couple good waves. I also saw a couple clips of him surfing Raglan, Manu Bay specifically. He's not a bad surfer. I just don't know a lot about him, and that makes me think he's going out in the 3rd round. Leon Glatzer from Germany is a 24-year-old goofy foot, and I'd never heard of him until I made this profile. I was hoping he was some river surfer from Munich, but it turns out he lives in Pavones, Costa Rica, speaks perfect English, and has a mean air game. Unfortunately, I can't find any competitive information, and he has no real results, which makes me believe he's not going to make the round of 16. 25-year-old regular foot Luca Macinas is from a cool little town in Peru called Mancura. I actually surfed that left there, and it's super fun. I mean, I love the guy's story. He's got skills in the water. I just don't see any competitive results, and he doesn't show up in the QS. That leads me to believe that he's probably not going to make the top 16. Dang, there's a really cool music festival in Viña del Mar where Manuel Selma's from. But anyway, he's a 32-year-old goofy foot. He's a kiteboarder, and I really do like his surfing. He's a great tube rider. The only problem is you have to scroll a long way to get to number 85 on the South American QS. Let me just apologize to my friend Ramon Navarro. I want to cheer for your guy. I just don't think he's going to make it in the top 16. Leandro Osuna from Argentina is a 30-year-old regular foot who's had mixed results in the QS, where he's currently ranked 15th in South America. He has some air game, but he's mostly a pipe surfer. I've actually watched him out there, and he rides the tube really well. Unfortunately, Japan is going to be just beach break, and I don't know how he's going to fare. I say he squeaks into the top 16. 27-year-old Ramzi Boukaim from Morocco represents one of the world's best wave zones. He's a goofy foot in the land of rights, and he's currently ranked 4th on the European QS. Another guy who can ride the tube. I look through his incredible clips, and I love his surfing and his vibe. How's he going to do in Japan? I think he'll make the top 16, but I'm not seeing him going any further because of all the other small wave talent in the mix. When I think of Olympians, I think of Michel Perez. After all, his name is the Spartan. The 35-year-old regular foot from Tahiti has been on the world tour since 2009. He's everybody's favorite power surfer. Unfortunately, he doesn't have air game, and the kids are going to be throwing punts all over this beach break. Is he going to make the quarterfinals? Maybe. It's too bad it isn't 2024 because he would own Chopu and have a shot at a medal. Hiroto Ohara from Japan is a 24-year-old goofy foot that's currently 5th on the Asian QS. Hiroto is a local to the venue, which is a huge advantage. That, coupled with a style that fits these waves, makes him super dangerous. He's fast, smooth, and finds ramps at will. I think I enjoy his layback snap more than anything. I'd be surprised if he doesn't make the quarterfinals. Here's an underdog and one of the most well-rounded surfers on the list. His surfing is insane. He can launch airs, he charges huge jaws, and he makes big pipe look easy. In fact, he was 2nd in the Pipe Invitational and competed on the WCT Billabong Pipe Masters this year. He is currently ranked 52nd in the world with no other competitive results. Small waves at the venue make him a maybe heading into the quarters. I'm so stoked to see Indonesia with a surfer in the Olympics, and Rio is the perfect representative. He's currently ranked 2nd in the Asian QS, and he is a star on the rise. This guy's surfing is amazing. In 2019, he used the WCT wildcard to beat Gabriel Medina at Karamas. I think he's going to make a global impact in surfing, starting with the Olympics. I see him easily getting into the quarterfinals, and he's an underdog for a medal. Man, how cool would that be if Indonesia won the gold? 23-year-old regular foot Leonardo Fioravanti from Italy is currently ranked 17th in the world. Leonardo's Olympic spot became available just a few weeks ago when Jordy Smith couldn't compete because of his knee injury. Leonardo is a solid surfer and competitor. He is well-rounded and probably underrated. He'll easily make the quarters, and I could probably see him getting into the semis. 28-year-old regular foot John Florence from Oahu, Hawaii, is a two-time world champion that's won every contest that matters, including the Eddie, the Pipe Masters, and the Triple Crown of Surfing. In fact, he won his 2 titles back-to-back. If not for his knee injury and what some would consider a rushed rehab, he would be a medal contender and our only hopes of beating either Gabriel or Italo. But it looks like we're going to have to wait to the next Olympics for him to be a serious threat. If he's 70%, he'll get into the quarters. Just the fact that Australian's Owen Wright is even in the Olympics is incredible. His brain injury in 2016 took him out for a year. He's won in a beach break in New York and got 2 back-to-back 10s at Cloud Break to win in Fiji. Currently ranked 20th in the world, I see the 31-year-old Goofyfoot making the quarterfinals. Current world number 25 Jeremy Flores has been competitive on the World Tour for 15 years. A versatile surfer, he's won at home in France, in Tahiti at Chopu, and he's a 2-time pipe master. He's a threat in any conditions, including Japanese beach break. He's chilled out in his older years and no longer yells at judges, but the passion is still there, and I think it's going to take him to the quarterfinals. Current number 11 in the world, Federico Moraes, is he one of my favorite surfers on tour? Yes, he is. I pick him a lot in my fantasy league, and I usually get results. Speed, power, flow, he's got it all. His surfing is complete, and I could easily see him in the quarterfinals, maybe the semis. I think it's going to come down to big air game, and others excel in that area. A 10-year veteran on the World Tour, Julian was a runner-up to the world title in 2018 to Gabriel Medina. The 32-year-old regular foot is good in all wave sizes and conditions, winning in France, Australia, and Hawaii, with a Triple Crown and a Pipe Masters to his name. He'll be strong in Japan with an impressive array of tail slides and airs to complement his power turns. I predict quarterfinals or higher. USA medal hopeful Kalohe Andino is 38th in the world, but that's only because an ankle injury sidelined him and he's missed the entire Australian leg of the tour. Kalohe has always had huge expectations, growing up as a mini surf star with his professional surfer dad. Looking at his clips, his airs, his tubes, his hacks, it's amazing that he hasn't won a WCT event yet. However, he could be considered the most obvious underdog. If his injury is healed, he's a medal contender. If it's not, he'll be lucky to make the quarters. 23-year-old Kainoa Igarashi from Japan is currently number 6 in the world. He grew up in Huntington Beach to Japanese parents, and his dad, Tsutomo, was a professional surfer back in Japan. Legend has it that the Olympic venue was first surfed by his dad. Now, if that's not a story for the Olympic announcers, check this out. His great-great-grandfather was a sword master or samurai. All the storylines aside, Kainoa is an exceptional pro surfer. He is focused, consistent, radical, and his style is silky smooth. Will he make a medal round? I think he will. Last year's champ Ilo Ferreira is ranked 2nd in the world behind the other half of the gold medal threat, Gabriel Medina. I mean, if these two don't bring home gold, the whole country of Brazil is going to take their surfboards in the street and stomp on them. This is the level that everyone else is trying to catch up to. So you think Ilo is all air game? Wrong. He's been power gouging, threading big barrels, and going warp speed since he burst onto the scene 5 years ago. Do we even remember a tour without the coffee and Red Bull-fueled surfing of Italo? I have to say some of the other surfers would win more, but it would be way less entertaining without him. So let's be honest for a second. He is going to kill this beach break. He's going to fly high in the air, he's going to get big scores, and nobody but Gabriel Medina can stop him. The only question here is gold or silver. The most popular surfer in Brazil, and maybe the world, the 2-time world champion Gabriel Medina, is well on his way to a 3rd title, having dominated this season in the World Tour. And now he's going for Olympic gold. Now, I'm tired of hearing how loose and free he looks, but he absolutely is. He is the competitive Terminator. But how strange is it that the love he and his wife share has made him even more dominant? I mean, look at their Instagram. They're so in love, and we're all really jealous. I don't know. I just respect the guy. The more I see him surf, and the more I see him live his life. I know. A lot of the Brazilian fans talk trash, but why shouldn't they? They're right. Brazil has arrived, they're taking over surfing, and they're here to get their gold medal. And I think they will. All right, so let's talk about the Olympic Fantasy Surf Contest. The winner is going to get a Stab Premium membership for 1 year. I'm a Stab Premium member, and I really enjoy it. I think you will too. The contest is very simple. What you're going to want to do is pick 5 women surfers, 5 men's surfers and pick one wild card. It can be an Olympic male or female. Next, we're going to do a tiebreaker. What you're going to want to do is pick the women's gold medal winner final heat score. So in other words, in the final medal match for gold and silver, if it's Carissa Moore, let's say, and Stephanie Gilmore wins gold with a 15.25, you're going to want to guess 15.25. The same goes for the men's gold medal winner final heat score. That's a lot to say, but anyway, I think you get the idea. If you have any questions about this, please ask me in the comments below. Next is scoring. The scoring is there on the right side of the page. I'm not going to read through all the points. I think the one important thing I want to mention about scoring is that points are awarded for each surfer's final standing. They're not cumulative. In other words, they're not going to get 3 points for a quarterfinal win if they win a gold medal. You understand what I mean? It's their final standing. That's the points that they'll get. Again, questions, put them in the comments, and I'll answer them as I get there. The final thing you're going to want to do to register for the event is you're going to want to go to oldsurfdad.com. You're going to see this button that's on the screen right there, and you're going to want to hit it. Let's go over there and check it out. All right, so here we are at the oldsurfdad.com website. We're going to click on the big stab button right here, and it's going to take us to the Olympic Fantasy Surf Contest page. There's details in the upper right about the Fantasy Surf Contest. What you're going to want to do is read through that, but it does remind you you do need to be subscribed to win the contest. If you move down the page, you'll see enter your surf fantasy team here. It talks about the points again, and here's where you enter your name, your email, and your team. Here's the women's team, here's the men's team, your wild card, and your men's gold winner. That's hard to say. Men's gold medal winner final heat score and women's gold medal final heat score, which we've already discussed. If you keep scrolling down, this is really cool. You're welcome. I left you guys the actual seeds for round 1. Here's the women and here's the men. So you can use this to decide who you want to pick for your team, okay? And that's about it. There's not much more to it. So if you have any questions, again, let me know in the comments section. Good luck to everybody. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If this video helped you in any way, give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. Thanks again and enjoy the Olympics.